So we're going to ignore the fact that he's got forearms on his body, but let's have a look at Sukuna's physique. Obviously he has quite an unnatural appearance with forearms, but even in like the bodybuilding sense, he looks enhanced, I would say. Like he has massive traps and neck, which are two of the most intimidating muscle groups. He's got this kind of hunched appearance where his traps and his upper back just seem too big. And his shoulders are also massive and round and full, as are his upper arms. All of these areas are really high in androgen receptors, which means they tend to grow very quickly when someone takes steroids. So this is definitely more achievable with steroids, but I think after years of training and with good genetics, you could potentially look something like this naturally, minus the extra limb situation. His forearms don't look that big, especially compared to Toji, who has quite prominent forearms. He's got good blocky abs, which shows that they're strong instead of just being flat, like a lot of dudes who don't have strong abs, but they've got a six-pack just because they're lean. This guy definitely has strong abs, and his chest is not that big. It's not a prominent feature of this physique, especially compared to the traps, the neck, shoulders, and the arms. Here's another angle where you can see his shoulders and his upper arms are definitely nice and full. And here, it doesn't tell us much more about his physique, but it kind of reinforces this hunched look with massive traps, upper back, and shoulders. It's very big and intimidating. Most guys who've been in the gym for a few years will have decent chest, front delts, and arms with like a smaller neck, legs, and upper back, because those are areas that are either not as fun to train or people just don't know you should train them directly. I'd say this physique is more comparable to an Olympic weightlifter in my opinion. So like big traps, big shoulders, smaller chest. Obviously these guys are using steroids, but a similar physique could be developed with many years of bodybuilding training, especially emphasizing these important muscle groups. We don't really get a look at his back, so we can't see any kind of V-taper action going on, but I will assume he has a decent V-taper, and that V-taper makes any physique look good anyway. So I'll include enough back exercises in this program to help build that. And we don't really see his legs, so I'll just include the basic minimal amount of leg work in this program. They're not a prominent part of the physique, so you don't need to get tree trunks for this look, but it's always good to train legs. Training legs will indirectly make the rest of your physique bigger through the systemic testosterone increase and the stabilizing and straining involved with big heavy leg exercises. So I'm going to say the most important features of this physique are the neck and traps, shoulders, the upper arms, and the abs. These are the muscles that you should really focus on training, and you should direct the most intensity and volume to these muscle groups if you want to look like this. Other muscle groups are obviously important, and you shouldn't neglect any part of your body. Chest, back, and legs should definitely be trained directly, and even your forearms and your calves if they're important to you. But the priority should be the areas on screen. And I will just mention that he's very lean in all of these pictures. You can see the striations, you can see his abs, the muscle separation. It's hard to be this big and this lean naturally. While you're building muscle, you're probably going to gain a little bit of fat, and that's okay because you can lose that fat later on after you've built a solid amount of muscle. Building a great physique requires a lot of patience. Like this doesn't happen in just a couple of months. It takes years. So if you're serious about this, let's take a look at how you can get started. So I've made a 3-day-a-week program which targets these important muscle groups, and that will help you get started towards looking something like this. So on Monday, we're starting with shrugs, because traps are a very important part of this physique. It's one of the most dominant features of this look. I recommend using a trap bar or a barbell for these ones because these are like the heavier shrugs in the week, and we'll do some lighter ones later on that you can use dumbbells for. After the shrugs, you can hit bench press for your chest. So chest isn't that important for this physique, but if you don't train it at all, it's going to look weirdly small, and it's going to help build your triceps and your front delts as well. After that, you can hit some rear delts by doing reverse flies or bent over lateral raises, and then you can build that upper back thickness and your lats with some barbell rows. After that, you can do some triceps push downs. So your triceps should have had some time to rest now after bench press, and they'll be fairly fresh to go again using an isolation exercise. And then we'll finish off the workout with some legs. So squatting, quite heavy for your quads and your glutes, and then Romanian deadlift for your hamstrings and the whole of your posterior chain. I've put the leg exercises at the end because they're not really the priority for this physique. So the most important muscles that you want to target should be done like earlier in the workout, because that's when you're fresh and you can give full effort to those lifts. And then you rest on Tuesday, come back in on Wednesday and hit some heavy overhead presses for your front delts. So again, the shoulders are another really important part of this physique. This exercise will develop your front delts, and we've got some exercises for the side delts and the rear delts later on in the program. So we're developing all 3 heads of the shoulder to get that really round look. After overhead press, you do some pull-ups for your back, like mainly the back width. These are one of the best exercises you can do for building the V-taper. And then lateral raises for your side delts to give you that shoulder width and the roundness in that shoulder. and then some overhead triceps extensions to focus on stretching the long head of your triceps, which is the biggest part of your triceps, makes it look the biggest, like from the side. You can use a barbell for this, or a dumbbell, or even cable. After that, we'll do the other side of the arm, which is the biceps, with some barbell curls, and then some face pulls for your rear delts, and he's also going to kind of hit the traps a little bit as well, so that whole upper back area. And then finish off with some hollow body crunches, which is where you get into the position that you can see on screen, and you're basically just lifting like your butt and your upper back off the floor to crunch like your abs together, and then you let your butt and your upper back go back to the ground and repeat that movement, and it's actually very challenging. And you rest on Thursday, and on Friday we come back in and do some more shrugs with dumbbells this time, because we're using a higher rep range, so the weights are going to be lighter. And then some dumbbell curls for your biceps, and then some dips for your chest, also your shoulders and your triceps, lateral raises again for your side delts, and then a squat in a higher rep range this time, so you're using a slightly lighter weight again for your quads, and hamstrings again after that with back extensions or good mornings if you don't have access to a back extension station. And then finish off with hanging knee raises for your abs. So for like the most important muscle groups on this physique, I've given a bit more volume to them, so like 4 sets instead of 3, and generally I've put them earlier in the workouts so that they can be emphasized like while you're fresh. So to make progress using this program, you want to pick a weight, do the sets and reps of whatever exercise you're doing, and try and complete all of the sets at the highest end of the rep range. So if it's like 4 sets of 8 to 12, try and get 4 sets of 12 with that weight. And once you can do that, once you've maxed out the rep range, then you can add a little bit of weight and you repeat. You try and max out that rep range again. Make sure you're not sacrificing your form just to try and max out the rep range, without really doing like good technique. You can cheat a little bit on the last couple reps and that's fine, but don't be completely swinging your body about using all kinds of momentum, because you're not really mastering the weight if you're doing that. So don't sacrifice form for weight, and focus on improving your numbers over time with good technique. And I've also made a bodyweight program, but unfortunately this bodyweight program is inherently going to be inferior because you're just limited in the muscles that you can effectively target because you just don't have as much equipment. Traps especially are crucial for this physique, and they're very hard to develop with just bodyweight movements compared to using weights. So this program isn't going to be as good as the main gym program, but if you don't have access to any equipment, this is going to get you in very good shape and closer to Sukuna's physique than where you are now. So again, it's 3 days a week, and we'll start on Monday with push-ups, 3 sets to failure. This is for your chest, your triceps, and your front delts. And then to hit like your rear delts and your upper back, we'll do some reverse snow angels, where you basically line on your front and you're just moving your arms in an arc around to your sides and then extend it out overhead in front of you. Then some inverted rows. You can do these on a table if you've got like a really solid table that's not going to collapse if you put your body weight on it, or like some bar that's low to the ground ideally. And then some triceps dips on like a chair or something, or a bench to hit your triceps, and then jumping lunges for like your glutes, your hamstrings, and your quads. Rest on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday you do pike push-ups for your front delt. So this is replacing like the overhead press. And then pull-ups, 4 sets to failure, close grip push-ups to target your triceps, and then hollow body crunches like I described in the main program. And then on Friday, you'll start with chin-ups for like your lats, and also pretty good for your biceps. And then dips, which are a great chest exercise on par with like bench press and push-ups. Jump squats for like your glutes and your quads, and then finish off with hanging knee raises for your abs. So there are fewer exercises in this program and less muscles are being targeted effectively, but you are just limited if you don't have much equipment. Like more equipment just gives you more options. So I definitely recommend either getting a gym membership or at least buying some home equipment like dumbbells, resistance bands, at least a pull-up bar, and that's going to make things so much easier instead of struggling trying to find exercises for certain muscle groups and they're just not going to be as effective inherently because you're not putting as much tension on the muscle. Something like a reverse snow angel for the rear delts, that's not going to be as good as like a reverse fly using a machine or dumbbells, because there's just not enough weight. The muscle isn't struggling enough. There's not enough tension on the muscle. So I definitely recommend either getting equipment or just getting a gym membership. It is worth it, even if you think it's expensive. You're going to see so much faster progress with a gym membership. If you have got some dumbbells and you can do most of the exercises in the main gym program, just adapted for dumbbell versions, and increase the number of reps, because with dumbbells you obviously can't go as heavy, so you need to do more reps in order to keep challenging the muscle. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but you should be training your neck directly as well. Like doing squats and deadlifts will build your neck just from like the straining and the supporting, but you should train it directly. You should isolate it by training it directly twice a week, either at the end of your workouts or as a quick home workout on your rest days. The basic movements are neck curls and neck extensions. You can do 2 or 3 sets of like 15 to 30 reps. Ideally get a neck harness to do these, but you can do bodyweight neck curls and extensions for higher reps, like 50 to 100 reps per set. And if you're a beginner, certainly you should just do bodyweight neck curls and extensions. Work up to like 3 or 4 sets of 50, and then you've got a pretty well conditioned neck. And every time you train neck, like any other muscle group, you need to make sure you warm it up beforehand, like move it through all of the ranges of motion that it's going to be going through without any resistance. And then you can move on to the resistance training once you've warmed it up, because this is an area that is very prone to injury if you're not careful. And if you want a really big neck, do neck rotations and neck lateral flexions as well for a fully rounded and strong neck. And I definitely don't recommend doing neck bridges, because they compress your cervical spine, which is not good. Your lower back is designed to take a lot of compressive forces from like carrying heavy things on your shoulders or whatever, but your neck is not designed to be compressed, which is what neck bridging does. Most athletes like Mike Tyson who do neck bridges get massive strong necks, but they also get some pretty severe neck problems like herniated discs and pinched nerves, often requiring surgery. So it's just not worth it, and there are many better options. Some basics that you need to have ticked off are a good 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. Make sure you get enough protein, so that's like 0.8 grams per pound of body weight or 1.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. You need enough calories, so don't starve yourself if you're trying to build muscle. Your body needs raw material to synthesize more muscle tissue, and that raw material comes from food. If you're in a big energy deficit, your body thinks it's starving, so it's not going to worry about building muscle. It's going to be trying to stay alive and hold on to as much fat as possible so that it has some energy reserve. So if you're skinny or skinny fat, I recommend doing a lean bulk, and this will provide you the energy to really push hard in the gym and the raw materials to build muscle. If you're seriously overweight, then use a small deficit to lose fat. Focus on improving your numbers in the gym, like the weight you're doing, the number of reps you're doing, and eat plenty of protein. So more like 1 gram per pound of body weight or 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight if you're trying to lose fat. All right, I hope all this helps you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.